Hello and welcome to Out with the Old and In with the New. I'm Margaret Ann, and I'm here with you today to help you become very conscious of what needs to go in the garbage, what you need to put in that black garbage bag and let go of. I can't tell you what it is, only you know what you're ready to release and let go of. And here we are on the Tuesday before the new year. We're getting ready to walk into 2022. And so we want to leave 2021 behind with blessings. All the lessons we may have learned for the and if we haven't learned the lessons, that we ask that we receive the inspiration, the divine inspiration, to understand what lessons we still need to learn or that we were intended to understand, to allow for anything that we perceive as a mistake to show us, to show each one of us how that is really a lesson on a life path, and it's a blessing on your life path to help with experience, to bring more wisdom. So now it's time to release, relax, and breathe into the new year as we let go of the old year. Well, one of the most important tools that I've utilized and still do, and it's something that is very beneficial, is self-observation, is to observe oneself. So that doesn't mean judging, no judgy, but instead to notice how you might have reacted or acted in a given situation and reflect on it and contemplate it. Contemplative thought is very, very helpful, especially if you don't go down the road. I recommend that you steer away from judging yourself for certain actions or reactions, but instead making a decision to take a look at how could I have, if you don't say you don't like how you might have acted or reacted or some situation that arose, then maybe take a look at how do I want to act if something similar occurs in the future. And so I have the picture of the journal here because I want to recommend that you grab your pen and your paper. If you prefer, grab your tablet and write on your tablet, or use your mobile device if you need to, however you want to do it. But jot down some of those observations, some of those things that you might want to shift and move forward with. And some of the things that you might want to release to cut the cords of the past is definitely negative self-talk. It's not necessary. It doesn't serve anyone at all. So it's even to become aware if you are having negative self-talk. And that's through self-observation. If you call yourself dumb or cancel clear stupid, or if you call yourself not good enough somehow, then that's negative self-talk. So become conscious of what words you use. The term word patrol, be aware of what you say and how you say it. Also be aware of how much you're judging other people. And this is very, very easy to do. It's unfortunate. I'm saying it's easy to judge others. It's not necessarily a good thing. It's not necessarily that easy to let go of. But we do want to steer ourselves towards finding the good in other people, even when we may observe behaviors that aren't in alignment with what we want or like. But the more we focus on what is good about not only ourselves, that positive self-talk, and also others, the better that we will have, we'll attract more and more kinder people, more compassionate people, nicer situations in life. We personally will have more peace. So it's a little, self-serving, if you will, to find the positive in yourself as well as in others, because life will become much, much better. And that's a good way to serve yourself, is with comfort and kindness and compassion. And so it's also helpful to be aware of in alignment with word patrol, is when you do have conversations, when you are speaking with others, what kind of tone or attitude do you have? So one of the things that I have found is that sometimes it's important to find our way toward. Somebody turned on their. Let's make sure everybody is muted, please. Thank you. This is being recorded for other people to watch at a future time. Thank you. Um, what was I saying about conversation and tone and attitude? um, that vibration, let's say we're talking on the phone with someone, it's helpful to have a smile on our face because that vibration still comes through. Or if we're feeling compassionate, to feel that compassion to the depth of that, the words that we say, they pick up that we're being authentically compassionate or kind in however, whatever situation it is, whether it's a business situation or a friendship situation, a family situation. And then the other thing for releasing for the and letting go of the old and moving into the new is somehow find a way to release fear. It's something that we just make a decision to do and even become conscious of what is it that we're fearful of? What fears do we have? And the more that we're self-aware, the easier it is to let go of the fear and then replace that fear with what we really want. So if we're envisioning something really positive to replace the fear, it helps to shift it for sure. Now, this is a silly slide, but I couldn't think of another way to do this. So sound is very effective for breaking up the energy of fear, of thought forms, of stuck patterns, patterns that we've had. So you can use a rattle. Get ready, I'm going to rattle. And imagine that this rattling is going all the way around you and letting go of anything that's stuck in your energy field. So rattling can be very effective. If you have a rattle, you might want to try that. You can also play singing bowls. And if you ever come stop by the Crystal Garden, which is where I'm filming this from, and our angel room has become our studio here at the Crystal Garden here in South Florida in the Palm Beaches. And we have singing bowls that you can play with and experience. And so that you see here on the screen, the Tibetan, the metal singing bowls, that's a good way too, or Tibetan bells. And also, if you happen to have crystal singing bowls, you know, that's very powerful for shifting energy, for tuning and realigning the chakra system. What is that? Pots and pans? What? Well, I want to say that if you don't have any of these things that you have to pay money for to buy, I'm sure, well, you do have to pay money to buy a pot or a pan, but you probably have some pans or pots in your house, and you probably have a wooden spoon. You take the pot and you bang the pot with a wooden spoon, and it's very effective. It's like drumming to get that energy to shift out of your consciousness, to shift out of your energy field that's maybe stuck in your energy field, because everything is energy and everything is vibration. And if you're repetitively thinking of something that's very negative or very fearful about something, you want to fix that. You want to shift that into something positive, because whatever we focus on, whatever we believe, is going to draw that to us, because we create our reality with our thoughts and our imagination. They're that powerful. I don't know why we keep having sound here. Somebody's mute. Please make sure you're all muted. Thank you. And so the notice the person. I have a person with her mouth like she's screaming. Primal screaming can be very effective too. So if you're in a place that you can make some really loud sounds with, to get that energy out of you of screaming, and I'm not going to scream because that would be very disruptive in this moment, but really allow yourself to scream. If you're not in a place that you can do that great, go in your car and go for a ride, or go sit in like a parking lot where you can't be seen that well, and let yourself scream. Let yourself really let it out of your energetic body so that it doesn't eat away at you. You want to let it go. And you can also use the sound of your voice with singing or toning. It doesn't have to be screaming. It can be something more pleasant, but sometimes we need to scream to get that vibration out of us. But singing, singing along with some favorite tunes, or letting yourself do some toning. like ah, and just continue to let that sound come out of you, and it really is very effective. Now, before I forget, I want to go back to those pots and pans and let yourself become aware of that as the new year is ending. I mean, the old year is ending, pardon me, actually, the opposite. As the old year is ending, and potentially right at midnight, although you can do it in the next day or right before midnight, is a tradition that I grew up with. Is we did take the pots and a pan or a pan and a wooden spoon, and we'd go out to the front door, open the front door. I was in New York at the time. I grew up in Brooklyn, and it was really cold because it was New Year's Eve. And my mom and my siblings, we'd open the door, and my dad, and we'd bang the pots to let out the old and anything that we didn't want, and let it go out the door, let it go, and bang it out of our energy, and then let it only the goodness to stay with us and to come in. So you can also do that little tradition, which I'm sure some of you that are listening perhaps have done that in your life. Now you could also drum. That's why I have a picture of a drum here. And drumming is very effective for moving energy. And before the pandemic, we have a drum just like this here in the Crystal Garden in the Angel Room. And I'm shifting my little table away from me a little, and I'm going to grab my drum, and I want to drum a little bit for you, and I want the sound to help you in your life somehow. Okay, so think of what something that you probably want to let go of, a fear, a thought form, something that you feel stuck about. And as I drum, I want you to breathe and feel that that is releasing and it's coming out of your energy body, okay? Let it go and let only goodness into your beingness. Breathe, breathe. And then believe that you've cleared out some stuff that you really want to let go of. You just did it. That simply. Now, there are other ways that you can clear energy. And of course, I have to mention my smudge and spray, which has become a very good bestseller for a very long time. I've had it since early 2000s. I think it came out in 1999-ish, and then out onto the marketplace a little bit after that. Smudge and spray is a fantastic choice if you want to use a non-smoking variety of using smudge. But you can see here, I have pictured sage, and you can see that there's also a charcoal with some resin on it. It's probably copal or frankincense and myrrh, or perhaps it's dragon's blood. Well, it doesn't look like dragon's blood, but it's some kind of a resin that can help clear energy. So you can use different products if you want to also to clear. On occasion, we have to clear the store. I grab my abalone shell, and I take the charcoal, and I light the charcoal, and I usually drop my Margaret Sacred Smudge blend. I have a blend that I created for myself and then became a product because people wanted it. And I put it on the charcoal, and it smokes just like you can see in this picture on the screen. Walk around the store with the intention of anything that's not for our highest good is being released and cleared and cleaned, like scrubbing bubbles, just like you would wash something. we're washing the energy, and then the blessings and well-being are replacing that energy. Because it's important that when we clear out negativity, to focus on filling that space with love, kindness, compassion, well-being, because basically the universe, the seems like the universal law is that it abhors a vacuum. So we, once we clean it out, we want to fill it back up with love, because we don't want the same thing coming back once we clean it out. So as we move forward, we let go of the old, but now we're moving into bringing in out with the old, in with the new. And the in with the new part of this is deciding, what do you want? So if you say, I don't know, then I recommend that you figure out what you want, because that's what's going to make your life happy, is to create the reality. It's best to be clear on what it is that you want, what you need, what you want to have in your life. And it's not necessarily just physical things. It's companionship, or the feelings that you have with the people around you. What do you envision? We have to be able to imagine it. Can you imagine whatever it is? You have to know what it is in order to even envision it. And that's the focus. The imagination is the key to so many things, the key to success. We have to envision it or see it prior to it being able to become a reality. So it's important to plan it. What is it that you want to do, and how are you going to make it happen? List the steps of action required in order to make it happen. So I'm going to use this example. So when I'm writing, and I do write quite a bit, I was just had submitted something, and I wrote down just a little bit in a Word document to get an outline, get some things on paper, so to speak. It's actually on a document. And I I envisioned myself writing it. I envisioned the information prior to me actually sitting down and putting it into, the Word document. And so it was my imagination also, it's my knowledge, it's also my experience, my ability to be an author and writing things. But this, I did plan ahead and planned by creating a list of what I wanted to have inside of it, an outline. And we do the outline also with what we want to create in our life and in our world. So some things that do come into play with creating the new, with the old and with the new, is having divine timing, being in connection with timing. And so deciding that you are in the right place at the right time with the right people, that you have divine timing in your life. If you believe that, it becomes so. And one of my favorite stones for that is angelite. And so with divine timing, some things you want to ask yourself or contemplate is, what is your first step? Write it down. Write it down somewhere. Put down, what is my first step? When will you take the first step? So it's one thing to, come up with what is it that you want, and it's one thing to decide that what you're going to do, but it's another thing to decide when you're going to actually get that happening. When are you going to make it so? Then it's time also, it is always time to recognize your own divine intelligence. You have innate intelligence. And then you also have intelligence from your experiences, from things that you've studied, things that you've learned, and your experiences in life. So let that experience and that knowledge come through. You can use fluorite. It's very helpful and beneficial to helping you stay focused and be grounded and use your intelligence. It's known as the genius stone throughout the ages. So it's important to let yourself recognize your own personal style. You have dynamic personality, dynamic being. So let yourself be clear, let yourself be intelligent, because you are, and take the time to imagine and visualize. I don't know if we ever give ourselves enough credit. I shouldn't say that, we probably do, but maybe I'd like to recommend that you spend more time imagining what it is that you want. So let's say you want better health. Maybe there's some health issue that you're feeling challenged. Well, I remember when I was growing up my whole life, my father would say, "Oh, Margaret, it's just temporary." this is going to pass, so I would, whenever I'm not feeling right, or I have an ache or a pain or something that's coming up, and sometimes you go down this path of something's much worse than it is. I remember that my father would always say, Margaret, it's just temporary, it's a temporary thing, it's going to be fine. Then I imagine the future when it is fine. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember when I had that ache or pain or that situation, that health issue, whatever it was. And look, it's fine now. The time has come. So the imagination and visualization of the positive of what it is that you do want. And you do that with any aspect of life. I just happened to use health there because of a conversation I had with someone earlier today. So divine love. So now, oof, the most important thing in all life is divine love. We want love in all aspects of our consciousness. So I like to use apophyllite for that because it actually brightens the energy. And be the gift to yourself. You are your own gift. You are the present, and your presence is a present. You are the gift. So be the person you are meant to become. That is always a good idea, because we have a contract, or an agreement when we came to planet Earth on what things we need to learn, what things we need to overcome, and how to become the person we were meant to become. And throughout it all, maintain kindness and compassion throughout the process. Very, very important and powerful. Now, some things that I like to use, that I've used over the years, are Bach flower remedies. And I talk about Bach flower essences in my book, The Essential Guide to Aromatherapy and Vibrational Healing. So in this book, I go into it in much more detail. But here's just some ideas on a couple of essences that might help you. So if you have a tendency to procrastinate, you need to take action on something, and you're like, oh, tomorrow. I remember there's a song in our family with Damani, never comes. Tomorrow never comes. Now is the present moment, do it now, right? And so procrastinate less. So when your tendency is to procrastinate, not because you're too tired, but more is because you just don't feel like it, hornbeam is a good remedy to assist you in moving forward. Now, what is this stuff? Bach flower essences, Bach flower remedies. Bach flower essences are vibrational medicine. And what you do is you put a drop of it into your water, whether it's a water bottle or whatever you're drinking for the day. And just one drop will do, yeah. And it shifts the vibration of the water. And as you sip it throughout the day, it starts to help you shift, but also you're conscious of the fact that you put that particular flower essence into your water. Now, flower essences are totally different than aromatherapy or essential oils, two different things. Do not drink essential oils. Aromatherapy is not meant to be ingested. We're talking about flower essences, Bach flower essences in this case. There are more than one type of flower essence too. So the next one is we sometimes need more effort to believe ourselves, to believe in ourselves. And we also need to be able to be efficient to move forward through tasks. So elm is the remedy that's beneficial for successful people who typically excel in their work, but it could also help you through periods in which you're temporarily challenged or have some kind of self-doubt. So whether you don't believe yourself to be successful, or which is self-doubt, elm can help with that, to help shift you out of believing that you can't do something to you can do something. And then gentian is good for confidence and courage. It restores hope and confidence and helps you have creativity with good ideas, and if you're creative with great ideas, but you do have challenges bringing them to fruition, this can help you with bringing it to fruition. So confidence and courage. Now, of course, there are essential oils for that. And these are the types of things you do not take internally, but rather you inhale it. It's through an olfactory scenario. So using your olfactory nerve, inhalation, smelling, using your sense of smell, it goes right to the limbic system of the brain and works. It's profound, and it smells great. So why not? So for taking action and moving forward and making things happen, black pepper, peppermint, and birch are three of many essential oils that could be beneficial. I just chose some. And if you wanted to read more, of course, I have to tell you, because that's what I do. You might want to read my book, The Essential Guide to Aromatherapy and Vibrational Healing. And I go in great detail to help you understand how it works and why it works. And I go through not only an affirmation for each one, but complementary flower essences. So you know what flower essences complement that particular essential oil. What complementary gemstones might be beneficial. You learn about the plant, the chemical components, what spiritual uses of the essential oil, the mental uses of the essential oil, the emotional uses, the physical uses, and and then the last item is the therapeutic properties of each essential oil. So you know if it's an analgesic or an antiparasitic or an antibiotic or anything like that. Divine guidance, which is a nice little, divinatory, like a little message from that particular essential oil. And for your safety. So if there's any contraindications, it's listed. And also some interesting tidbits. So the first three were Bach flower, black pepper is what I meant to say, peppermint, and birch. And then to help you believe in yourself, I created the Lift Me Up blend. And the Lift Me Up blend is what is in Bliss Mist. And that's to help if you're a little down in the dumps and you don't think you can do something and you need some upliftment to raise yourself out of doldrums or the blues or a lack of confidence. Another one is lemon, and lemon is very good for mental clarity and also for intelligence. It helps you get clear so that you can figure things out. And then for destroying obstacles, there's quite a few in my line. I have 65 sprays of and blends in my line. But Miracle Water, Ganesha spray, and Solar Plexus chakra spray are the three I choose for helping you to destroy obstacles and bring in blessings, to replace the obstacles with blessings, love, and well-being, self-confidence. Now, I wanted to go a little bit further with the gemstones. So red jasper is one for taking action. In fact, the key phrase for red jasper is instant presto manifesto. Each one of the gemstones have a key phrase in my book, The Essential Guide to Crystals, Minerals, and Stones. They're my children. I have to show you. This is my child. And the citrine, which is the next item, believe in yourself. That's for confidence and courage, for helping you with feelings of being overwhelmed, to help you digest life, digest not only food, but life better. So these are gemstones that can help you with putting your intention to match the gemstone. And last but not least, in this little tiny list of gemstones, to help you destroy obstacles, I like to use the black obsidian family. So that's black obsidian, golden sheen obsidian, rainbow obsidian, and snowflake obsidian. You can also use smoky quartz. These are great for dealing with any obstacles and clearing out even grief. That's really great. Black obsidians are great for grief. So it's time to decide to have a happy new year. 2022, we've gotten through basically more or less 2 years of being in a global pandemic. It's been intense for many people, and we have many blessings in our life that we can focus on. And I want to ask you to try to do that, to put your gratitude practice into practice and think good thoughts. And so next week we will join again for another mini workshop, meditation followed by a mini workshop, followed by our Facebook Shop the Crystal Garden from Home event, which is going to start at 6:30 shortly after we finish right now. So join me again if you want to see past meditations or listen and experience past meditations, or you want to revisit or for the first time see some of the past workshops. I've been doing these free workshops throughout the whole pandemic. Go to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Margaret Ann Lembo. It's just my name, or you could type in YouTube Margaret Ann Lembo, and my YouTube channel will come up if you type that into the like Google search. I want to thank you so much for joining me and listening to my ideas on how to let go of the old and bring in the new. And I wish to thank you for joining me, and may your days be filled with blessings and love, and may the angels light your path. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy New Year!